Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I just sneezed really bad before I started, so I'm sniffing a little bit now. So I decided to start a little mini series, if you will, on cardstock. I know absolutely nothing about cardstock on tarot, oracle, or anything else for that matter, but I do know that here lately, some of the mass market, specifically decks or specific publishers, mass market publishers, are changing it up, and I wanted to recognize that. So I thought I would do a video. I don't even know where I was interrupted. Basically, I was going to do a video on recognizing that some of our favorite mass market publishers are for tarot are trying to change it up, and I don't know, I think I'm going to call this video Cardstock Hit and Misses question mark. I decided to do each I started out writing a couple of decks I thought were cool on each, and then I was like, maybe I'll just make it a whole thing. So, this video, and I'm starting you guys off small because I don't have a lot of misses for this category, for this specific publisher. But this is the U.S. Games hit and misses. Specifically U.S. Games. So, I have 10 decks. Couple of them are misses. Most of them are hits. Yeah, so let's get into it. So, I'm a little upset because I just pulled one off I forgot about. I haven't used it in forever. The last time I used it, it was just fantastic. And when I went to pull it off the shelf, the box split, and I was so freaking aggravated. But it is the Tarot at Mystical Moments, and you can see here the box split right there. I was so mad. So mad. Okay, and it just comes off now. Look, it even looks like I think it's been dropped, and somebody just threw it back on the shelf because that's split there too. So that really aggravated me. The cards are huge. Number 1, miss. Number 2, miss. The edging, because as beautiful as it is, this edging cuts into my hands. And it's glossy, and I'm just like, no. The cards are freaking stunning. So, despite the fact that the silver gilding cuts into my hands and the cards are large, oracle size, I still love this deck. Despite the cardstock. I don't know, does this say, I think it says, it doesn't say when. It just says U.S. Game System on the book. 2020. So 2020 this came out? That feels right. Because the Oracle was out way before, and it's actually a softer cardstock than this, which I like. Don't know why they went glossy on this one. The tarot that goes with it. But I adore the way this deck reads. It's fantastic. So, despite the cardstock, the shininess of it, and the biting into my hands, and the humongousness of it, I love it. So that's deck 1. The cardstock, kind of a miss. It is a miss. Next, we have the Pastoral Tarot by Lisa Hunt. This, and the next one I'm going to show you, I was sorely disappointed in the cardstock. Just because I have a few before this that I'm just like, I love. Okay, again, they're large, but it's a matte. Nice and matte. It's not super shiny, glossy. It is probably the same size as the one I just showed you. Nope. It's a little bit, I mean, just a hair off. A hair. Seriously. I love this deck. Despite, because the cardstock on this is a miss also. It is matte and nice. I like that. I don't even mind that it's landscape images. I love this Wheel of Fortune. I love most of the cards in here. Gorgeous. Gorgeous deck. I don't like the cardstock because I love this deck card. It actually has a bow that makes a noise. And that's probably my fault or my bad. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because the cardstock is just thick enough that it seems a little thicker than a normal cardstock, that it literally makes a noise when you go to, like the whole deck makes a noise in the middle. You can't hear it on camera, but it makes this folding weird noise, and I don't care for that. It's like it's like it came with a permanent bow in the middle of the deck for some reason, and I'm like, what? Other than that, it's a beautiful deck, but I don't like it. It's just a little thick for my taste on this cardstock. That is the Pastoral Tarot. So for the exact same reason, and that's a miss on the cardstock for me. For the exact same reason that there's a click in it, plus it's gilded, I made a pouch for this one because I really didn't feel like carrying it around in the box. Made it stretched out. And it's got a little pocket there. I love it. No, it doesn't. It isn't gilded. I thought this one was gilded. It's a little bit smaller, I want to say, cardstock. I want to say it's a little smaller. Yeah, so it's more manageable. It's a hair taller and about half an inch or an inch, maybe half an inch wider. The other one was than this tarot. This is the Lorenzi tarot. Again, the cardstock is still that thicker cardstock like the Pastoral Tarot. I don't use these two decks as often as I thought I would when I bought them because of this reason. Because you can literally hear this. It's more so in this one. When you go to shuffle or bend it, it's got this in the very center. It's not doing it now either. Bow. It's like a permanent bow dead center of the deck. And I don't, it freaks me out. It's not freaking me out. It really irritates me. Because this is how this deck was and the last one when I bought them. Brand new out the box. This is how they were. They have this little bow in the center and it can cause the whole deck to click in this weird bowy way. I don't know. It's the same reason for the Pastoral Tarot why I don't use this deck as often. I know it sounds very superficial, and I don't know what to tell you. It's the cardstock. It has to be, because it's this is the exact same cardstock, same thickness and everything as the Pastoral Tarot. And they both, and it's the only two U.S. Games deck I have that has this specific cardstock. None of the other decks I have, or I'm going to show you, I love this Hermit, by the way, has this exact cardstock. None of them. So I'm wondering if it's just this cardstock. Clearly. But it could be why this is the only two decks I have with this cardstock. Because maybe other people have complained or whatever, and they've changed it up since then. But it's no longer glossy, which I freaking love. This deck is one of those decks I said it was like we're seeing the beginning of creation. And I've always said that about this deck. I've always meaning to do a deep dive in this deck. I just haven't yet. And part of it is the dang clicky cardstock. Like you can bend it one way and it will stay. And then you have to pop the bow in the middle to bend it the other way. I don't know. It's not doing it at this moment. Neither deck are. But for that reason, the cardstock is a miss for me. So that was deck 4, 3. Oh my god. 1. We've only shown 3 decks. Jesus. Lord. Okay. Next one we have. I think that's my only 2 misses, honestly. Because next we have the Joie de Vivre, and this is one of my first U.S. Games decks. I love this deck. The cardstock is thin, but not too thin. Before I do that, let me show you the shuffle, because I can actually ripple shuffle this one pretty good. It does not hurt my hands. It's definitely a hit in my book. Plus, the deck is beautiful. It reads very wonderful to me. Sometimes she can read bitchy. She's stunning. And I love, 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 love this deck. I often say, basically, I was going to go get the Spirit Song Tarot, and then I walked into my local metaphysical shop, saw this deck, also by the same creator, which is, oh my gosh, Paulina Cassidy. I think she goes by Paulina Faye now. But we know and love her, right? We all know these decks. And then I felt bad that I went and bought this first, because the Spirit Song was on my deck for so long, my list. And I was like, okay, so we're going to get that. And that was literally the next deck I bought. So, by Paulina Cassidy. Which, this is my deck of the year, if you've been watching my channel this year. For my... What's the word I'm looking for? It's January, February, March, April. We just did a video on. This is a buttery, beautiful cardstock. It shuffles amazing. It's going back. Why is that all mixed? It's going back to almost the same kind of cardstock. It's trying to go back. This is an older deck, so it's a velvety matte cardstock, which I love. It's not as thick as the other 2 that I just showed you, or the other, the Pastoral and the Lorenzi. It shuffles well. It doesn't hurt my hands when I shuffle, because there's no gilding on it. And it is freaking beautiful. And I love that there's keywords on this. It's stunning. And I love it to pieces. And I could show you this deck all single day, but I won't. One more. Beautiful. So that is my... And it's the deck I'm using for my tarot spread of the year right now. So let's see. This is actually in order. So the 7 of Crystals is my card of the month for May. It's on top. So that's Spirit Song Tarot. We have, wow, that was 5. We have 5 left. So next we have, for a hit, oh my gosh, and I had to throw it in there because everybody has this deck. It is the Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith. It is a thicker cardstock, kind of like the Joie de Vivre. It's almost okay, so it's like a cross between the Spirit Song and the Joie de Vivre, honestly, because it's got the softer feel to it, but it's the thicker cardstock of the Spirit Song. So it's somewhere in between, and I freaking love it. I love, I don't typically use RWS decks, honestly. If I'm reaching for an RWS, I'm usually reaching for my 2.0 that I got off my playing cards because of the coloring, and the cardstock is amazing. But this is beautiful. So if somebody wants a traditional RWS, I have this deck available. I have the borderless also, just because I love borderless. But I've been thinking, it's weird because I never ever think to pull out the RWS, the traditional RWS to use. And here lately, it's been calling me to pull it out. And I'm like, that's weird. Because it's never done that before. But that is a hit, is the Smith-Waite Tarot Deck Centennial Edition. Next, we have similar vein. It is the Omega Land Tarot Deck and Card Game, U.S. Games. The box, it's a tuck box. It is a rose petal kind of finish. Very soft box. And it's very sturdy. And I thought this was a, I didn't even show y'all the shuffle on that other one. This is a hit just because I can ruffle shuffle it. It doesn't have the same velvety texture as the one I just showed you, the RWS. But it still shuffles well. It's still your typical tarot size. It's still softer than the Lorenzi and the Pastoral. Those are like stiff. Super stiff. It's almost like they're non-pliable. And that's why there's this bow that pops up in the middle of them. And I hate it. But I got this deck for just to be funny. And I don't think I've really ever used it. It's clearly not nostalgia, but a kind of a fandom kind of deck. So I don't ever reach for it, but I think it's hilarious, and I love that it's in my collection. I love the backs, too. But that is a great cardstock. It's very nice. Very, 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 very nice. And if you haven't noticed, all of these decks so far have been this either just regular matte or matte with gloss or the gloss. And then I started noticing over the last year or two that they've really stepped up their game. They're really trying to hear the public and change their cardstock. So the one, this is the Royal Mischief by Patrick Valenza playing card deck. It's a typical playing card size. I love that it's got this gunmetal gray gilding. I would say this is a miss, but for some reason, it's the exception to that rule. It's glossy. It's got the gunmetal gray, but it's still shuffleable, and I think if it were any bigger, it would be a miss. It can shuffle well. I love this deck. I got it on sale on Amazon, and I was just like floored that I was even able to get it, because I love playing cards, and I love this deck. It's in my top 5 playing card decks, honestly. But it does have even though it's glossy and it has the edging that kind of can cut you, it's got this softness to it as well, where they're very bendy. They're thin enough that they're pliable, and you're not going to hurt yourself or strain yourself shuffling this deck, which I love it. So that is a hit also. Next we have the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot by U.S. Games. This is the deck everybody stood up and noticed and was like, wow, look at the cardstock on that. It's fabulous. Come with a huge book, gilded. I don't know what, it's matte, I'm guessing, but it's almost like it's paper thin, but it's like a silky, just treasure. And you're like, I love this. I love it. It's like butter in your hands. It's so soft. The gilding is soft. Every part of this deck is just soft. And you're like, oh. And then there's the limited color palette. You love it. You don't even notice that it's a limited color palette per card. So, there's all these things that if it were any other deck and any other cardstock, the whole deck would probably be a miss for me because I don't do limited color palette either. But because it's so silky, buttery, soft, and the edging is beautiful and it shuffles like a dream, you overlook all that. And it just adds to the character of the deck and how beautiful it is. Now, it is harder for me to shuffle this way just because it's long, but this way is fantastic, and I'm not mad at it. I love it. So that is when everybody was like, whoa, this is like indie quality, especially with the hardback book. And then the last deck I'm going to show you, and the most recent, I was floored because it's linen. And I'm like, what? They went linen on me? It is the Universal Folk Tarot. It has the same kind of V that the Pavlov Tarot I just showed you does on the box. It's a bigger cardstock, going back to almost like the, what do you call it? And look at the freaking book is huge too. Going back to the, oh my gosh, like the mystical, oh my gosh, mystical moments. It's almost that size again. So it went back up in size because this is a brand new deck. Brand new. It's a little wide, but I can still ruffle shuffle. That was my bad. It has black edging, which is gorgeous. I think it's midnight blue, actually. It shuffles like this. Amazing. And I ain't mad at it. And it's freaking beautiful. And I'm like, despite the fact that the cards are stunning, the cardstock just adds to the beauty of the deck. And you're like, ugh. And I never thought I would say that about a linen cardstock. But this is linen, but it has some kind of finish over it. And if U.S. Games is really trying to look for a deck that really sets it apart, or a cardstock that really sets it apart, this cardstock is it. It's beautiful. It's soft. It's not too rough. The matte edging doesn't hurt your hands. I would say this is even over the Fyodor Pavlov, just because the Fyodor Pavlov does have a more, it's that golden non-matte edging. And this is, it's just all the way around. It's not going to hurt your hands. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's a perfect size. It's the perfect thickness. And I just was like, they need props because, and that's why I decided to do this series. One of the reasons. I have a couple other decks that I decided to do this series on. But if you're trying to change up your cardstock for the better, I get it. I get it. Totally get it, because there's so many of our mass market publishers lately trying to do that. And I just want to give those ones that are trying, that are succeeding and doing a good job, props. And props to the deck for doing a good job of hearing the people and giving them what they want. So that is my 10 decks by U.S. Games that I think either were hits or misses. And of course, this is the number one hit for me. I would say the Fyodor Pavlov is number 2 for hits, and then probably the Joie de Vivre. But I feel like they are getting better and better with their cardstock, and I freaking love that. I love that they're really trying and really listening and really putting out quality, because you can tell this is quality work for a mass market deck. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos, and you have a good night.